Now, it's the biggest tech event of the year, isn't it, Ange?
It sure is. The annual CES Expo has just wrapped up in Las Vegas, showcasing the latest tech gadgets. Jeff Quattromani was there on the ground and has just landed back in Australia to tell us all about it. Jeff, it's so good to see you.
Good morning.
Great
Good to
to
see
see
you.
I'm obsessed with the things you find at this show. So
It's amazing.
What was the highlight?
Look, when we think about home entertainment, the biggest things was bigger TVs. Now, 75 inches and above is set to be the norm this year. And Hisense rolled out a 130-inch laser TV. It's coming to Australia. And I'm talking about TVs that are just going to blow your mind in that sense. So that was big from Hisense. But also, if you think about what LG and the other brands were doing, LG showed up with a TV that you could wall mount. No more cable clutter. You wall mount the TV. The box and the brains behind that TV could sit somewhere else in the lounge room. Plug your Foxtel box into it and things like that. Completely wireless between the TV and that box. No more cables on the wall. Very neat and tidy.
What about power? What about
So it
plugging
does
it
need
in?
power. That's easy to hide. But when you
Yeah.
start plugging in your Foxtel and your
Sure.
PlayStation, a little harder. And then LG ruled out one more thing. Transparent televisions.
What?
So maybe, you know, Tristan, you've got that harbour view. You don't want to block it with a big TV.
I wish I had the hammer view, yeah.
So you put this transparent television there and it's completely see-through when it's off. But then when you
Wow.
turn it on, it looks like a normal televion. So
They had disappearing TVs in the 70s, you know, Jeff. They'd have them at the
Had
end
them
of the
in
bed.
my neighbourhood.
And they'd drop down. No, they'd drop down into this little thing at the end of the end of your waterbed. But anyway, there you go.
The hardest thing is getting them through the front door. That's what it is. They don't fit in the house. Smart homes.
Yes.
We're always talking about them. I haven't got around to getting one. They're very difficult, no?
yeah, look, they have been in the past, and it's always been point to point, you know, asking your voice assistant turn on the lampshade.
Yeah.
But Samsung came in this year and said, we want to accept all brands as part of our ecosystem. So no matter what you've got, imagine walking into your lounge room and say, it's Studio 10 time. The lamp turns pink, the blinds open, TV turns on, Channel 10 starts. That's the vision that they've got, and it's actually going to be happening this year. So really bringing in sort of motion and autonomy to the smart home is going to happen. And then we also heard from Hisense a similar trend where I could be watching Studio 10, Miguel's cooking something, I want to cook that tonight. Click of a button, recipe shows up on the smart display on the fridge, oven starts preheating, and I get a wine recommendation from my wine fridge. So really bringing to life appliances and things working together, and it's going to be very exciting.
And they're all connected to the internet, these appliances.
Absolutely, yes. And
Somebody's going to be collecting that data, though, aren't they, Jeff?
maybe. I'll take the conspiracy hat off for a little while. But yes, it's very exciting in that way.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, you were on Instagram posting about cars at the show too. Do tell.
Yeah, look, there's a lot happening in the automotive space, and obviously a lot of car brands are going to the show now. But what we're noticing this year is that, you know, sitting down with companies like Here Technologies, who actually power most of the cars that we do see on the road, and hearing about what's going to happen with self-driving cars. When do we let go of the steering wheel? And they started to talk about, well, actually, you can't just put an autonomous car on the road. If you do that, it's going to collide into something, it's going to find problems. But having a world where cars communicate with things and each other means that when one car discovers a pothole, no other car will have to go through that hole again. If there's roadworks up ahead, it will navigate around that. So having this sensory experience in the car where you're not going to have those issues. If a cyclist is whizzing by, the car knows about it before you do. And this is what they're really moving towards, because you can really build an autonomous car, but it can't work on these roads today.
So my daughter's going to have to still learn to drive because that's about a year away. But will Tristan's kids need to learn to drive?
I'll say yes. And this was the big message from them, is that while the technology's there, we still need to actually put our hands on the wheel. We may have autonomous zones, which are places where you can let go of the steering wheel, but full autonomy, we're all going to have to learn to drive.
So what did you bring home? What was the gadget you decided you had to have?
So, look, there was one thing, and I don't like to go to the toilet on this one, but there was a gadget from a company called Withings. They make smart health, you know, really, you know, wearables and things like that. And they've put something in the toilet this year. It's a urine lab that effectively you do your business on every morning, and then you get feedback about hydration, about protein, about ovulation and things like that, if that's something that you're worried about. And yeah, this is a gadget that they're bringing to Australia, and you'll have to recharge it every 3 months. So I'm not doing that job.
What happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas.
Yeah,
Great
absolutely.
stuff, Jeff.
You're
awesome.
taking the piss. Okay. For more information about the products and trends from the show, you can listen to Jeff on his podcast, Technology Uncorked. Jeff, welcome home. Thank you for the update.
Thanks for
and
having
get
me.
some sleep from the sensory
man.
assault that is Las Vegas.
Looking forward to that.
And a huge Happy New Year to you. It's the first time we've seen you.